I know you were at the Bitcoin conference recently, and you told them CIA started Bitcoin. They got really angry on Twitter. But
I don't know that.
Yeah,
but until you can tell me who Satoshi was, I have some questions. What?
Actually, I have a feeling about who Stoshi was, but that's a separate conversation.
No, it's not. Let's just.
For years, Tucker Carlson has built his reputation on asking the questions others won't. Yet even he wasn't prepared for what came next. When the topic of Satoshi Nakamoto, the mysterious inventor of Bitcoin, surfaced, what began as an abstract chat about artificial intelligence veered into a revelation that seemed straight out of a spy novel. A name was finally mentioned, and it wasn't a coder from Silicon Valley. It was someone whose resume spanned encryption, drug cartels, and international crime. In that instant, Carlson's usually unflappable expression told the story. This wasn't the answer anyone expected.
There's a guy, his name is Paul Le Roux.
By the way, for those watching who don't know who Satoshi was, Satoshi is the pseudonym that we use for the person who created Bitcoin. But we don't know.
It's amazing, it's this thing that was created. We don't know who created it. He never moved the money, I don't think. Maybe there was some activity here and there, but there's billions, hundreds of billions of dollars locked in.
The mere suggestion that Satoshi could be Paul Le Roux, a notorious programmer turned crime lord, stopped Carlson mid-sentence. The name alone carried decades of infamy. Le Roux had gone from developing open-source encryption software to running one of the most sophisticated criminal enterprises in the world. If true, this meant the cryptocurrency often celebrated as a libertarian triumph might trace back not to idealism, but to the dark logistics of smuggling and money laundering.
Yeah, Paul Le Roux was crypto hacker in Rhodesia before Zimbabwe, and he created something called Encryption for the Masses, EM4, and was one of the early. By the way, I think Snowden used EM4 as part of his hack. So he was one of the people that really made it so that cryptography is accessible to more people.
That revelation reframed the entire story of Bitcoin's birth. The technology that promised freedom from central banks might have sprung from the same mind that once armed cartels and traffickers. Carlson leaned in, half incredulous, half fascinated. Le Roux's program, Encryption for the Masses, had indeed paved the way for secure digital communication. Yet somewhere along that path, its creator crossed into a shadow world where privacy became a shield for profit and power.
However, he did become a criminal. He became a criminal mastermind. In Manila, he was really controlling the city almost. He paid off all the cops and everything. He was making so much money from so much criminal activity. His nickname was Satoshi with an L. And so there's a lot of, circumstantial evidence. There's no cutthroat evidence, but I just have a feeling that he generated so much cash, he didn't know what to do with it, where to store it. And on the side, he was building Bitcoin to be able to store all that cash.
The irony was almost cinematic. The very tool conceived to bypass corruption might have been engineered by corruption itself. The guest's calm delivery only amplified the shock. Satoshi, he said casually, a play on Satoshi's name, whispered among tech circles for years. Carlson's silence hung in the air as he processed what this implied. Bitcoin, the digital gold of a new age, might have been born not from an idealist dream, but from a criminal necessity.
And around the same time that Satoshi disappeared, he went to jail. He got booked for all the crime he did. He recently got sentenced to 25 years of prison. I think the judge asked him, what would you do if you would go out? And he's like, I would build an ASIC chip to mine Bitcoin.
The connection seemed almost poetic. At the moment Le Roux vanished into prison, Satoshi Nakamoto also vanished from the internet. Millions of Bitcoins remained untouched, their addresses frozen like relics. Carlson's eyebrows arched as his guest described Le Roux's hypothetical plan to build an ASIC chip to mine Bitcoin, the same kind of specialized hardware that powers the crypto economy today. If the timelines truly matched, could Bitcoin have been born from one man's attempt to hide billions in plain sight?
He's currently in prison. Yeah.
In this country or the Philippines?
I think this country. Because he was doing all the crime here. He was selling drugs online, essentially.
Huh. We should go see him in jail.
Yeah. To check out his story is fascinating.
Carlson's instinct for investigation immediately flared up. The idea of visiting Le Roux in prison wasn't just idle curiosity. It was a journalist's reflex. But beneath the intrigue lay something deeper, a fear that Bitcoin's mythos had been built on deception. If the founder was an imprisoned criminal, what did that mean for the world's first decentralized currency and those who believed in its moral purity? As the conversation shifted, Carlson tried to regain footing by moving back toward the safer terrain of artificial intelligence. Yet the themes overlapped. Both Bitcoin and AI represented technological revolutions born from code, secrecy, and human ambition. And both carried the same question: who truly controls them?
No, I don't see it as a threat at all. And I think, and I heard some of your, podcasts with Joe Rogan, whatever, and you were like, we should nuke the data centers.
Yeah.
And
I'm excitable.
Yeah.
On the basis of very little information.
Well, actually, tell me, what is your theory about the threat of AI?
Carlson chuckled at his own reputation for alarm, but the laughter couldn't erase the unease that lingered after the Satoshi discussion. Technology, he mused, might begin with good intentions, only to evolve beyond human control. Whether it was an anonymous programmer or an algorithm deciding our future, the theme was the same: power slipping silently from human hands into digital systems we no longer understand.
And on this topic, I'm legitimately ignorant, but I have read a lot about it, and I've read most of the alarmist stuff about it. And the idea is, as you well know, that the machines become so powerful that they achieve a kind of autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
And they, though designed to serve you, wind up ruling you.
His words could just as easily apply to Bitcoin itself. A system meant to liberate humanity from financial overlords now dictated markets, wealth, and even national policy. And just as AI might one day act without its creator's consent, Bitcoin already existed beyond Satoshi's reach. Whoever he or she or they was, the creation had outgrown the creator.
And it's almost like having live-in help, which, people make a lot of money. They all want to have live-in help. But the truth about live-in help is, they're there to serve you, but you wind up serving them. It inverts. And AI is a kind of species of that. That's the fear. And I don't want to be a slave to a machine any more than I already am. Yeah. So it's kind of that simple.
The analogy was haunting. The tools designed to empower us might quietly make us dependent. Bitcoin promised autonomy, yet it made millions check price charts like worshippers at a digital altar. The irony wasn't lost on Carlson, who had built his career warning about unseen forces shaping human behavior.
And I would decouple the existential threat concern from the concern, and we've been talking about this of us being slaves to the machines. And I think Ted Kaczynski's critique of technology is actually one of the best.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I
wish he hadn't killed people, of course, because I'm against killing.
Yeah.
But I also think it had the opposite of the intended effect. He did it in order to bring attention to his thesis and ended up obscuring it. But I really wish that every person in America would read, but not just his manifesto, but the book that he wrote from prison, because they're just so, at the least, they're thought-provoking and really important.
Carlson's tone softened here, reflecting a strange empathy for those who question the trajectory of progress. Just as Kaczynski warned about technology's dominance, perhaps Satoshi or Le Roux had glimpsed the same paradox. In trying to decentralize power, he may have birthed something that transcended control altogether.
He talked about this thing called the power process, which is he thinks that it's intrinsic to human happiness to struggle for survival, to go through life as a child, as an adult, build up yourself, get married, have kids, and then become the elder and then die, right?
Exactly.
And he thinks that modern technology kind of disrupts this process and makes people miserable.
The power process Carlson referenced encapsulated everything the Bitcoin mystery symbolized. Humanity's constant pursuit of control over money, over machines, over destiny, always seemed to end in surrender. Whether the key was held by governments, corporations, or anonymous cryptographers, the result was the same: dependence masked as freedom.
Yeah, and I think that just my childhood, I was like always different. When I had hair, it was all red. It was bright red, and my whole family is a kind of, or at least half of my family are redheads, and because of that experience, I was like, okay, I'm different. I'm comfortable being different. I'll be different. And that just commitment to not worrying about anything, about conforming, or like it was forced on me that I'm not conforming just by virtue of being different and being curious and being, good with computers and all that.
That reflection, tucked quietly at the end, offered an unexpected moral. The world often labels the unconventional as dangerous until their ideas reshape everything. Whether it's a red-haired hacker in Rhodesia or an anonymous coder hiding behind a Japanese pseudonym, it's the outsiders who challenge conformity and rewrite the rules. Carlson, visibly contemplative, recognized that pattern. The question of who Satoshi Nakamoto really was seemed less important than what his creation revealed about us. By the end of the exchange, Carlson had few words left. The claim that Bitcoin's creator might be an imprisoned criminal genius wasn't something he could easily dismiss. But beyond the identity, the conversation unveiled something more unsettling. Our faith in technology often replaces faith in truth. The myth of Satoshi endures because it mirrors our need to believe that innovation can be pure, even when its origins are anything but.
I'm sorry. I just had to get that out of you. So I keep digressing.
Now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think Paul Le Roux could truly be the man behind the name Satoshi Nakamoto? Or is the truth still locked away somewhere even deeper?